Are we live?
We are live.
We did it again.
We did it again.
Nice. I'm glad. I'm glad we can do it again.
I am too. I am too.
What's up, guys? This is the legacy of ours. We're back at it again. I got my host Christian Nieto and myself, Drew, and so today we're going to talk a little bit about drawing too much attention or having attention. Um, and if you think about that, like there's so many different things on when to use it and when not to use it. So we're going to get into that. And so here's the show. What's going on?
Things are good, bro. Things are
Been
good.
doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Just trying to make it in life.
What does that mean?
Still new to the civilian world. So, I've
Yeah,
been
how's
out
that
a couple
arm?
months.
You thought I forgot about that.
My arm? You
Yeah.
mean my shoulder? See, you did forget about it because you don't even know where
Hey,
it's
it
at.
was.
No, my shoulder's doing better. I'm able to actually lift it up more.
Did you ever get your MRI? You said.
No. So they said they're just gonna go ahead and let it heal on its own and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which is kind of weird because I would expect them to think, like I want to know what's going on in there and so on and so forth. But
Well, that's good. I'm
yeah,
glad it's
bro.
actually moving along.
Yeah. What about you? What's new to you?
Nothing. I had a 5-year-old birthday party. We had that
Yeah.
yesterday.
You
And,
had
I'm
one?
glad I don't do much. You know what I mean? Like I stay out of the way and I try to do as little as possible. And
Piece of
like, every
shit.
every time, like dude, I don't know. It's a lot of stress, but I don't do anything. I literally don't do
Yeah.
anything. And normally, sometimes I'll grill. I didn't even do that. We ordered pizza. So can
I
you
like
imagine? I
it.
didn't do anything.
I
But
like it.
she Maddie, she always does all these different crafts and whatnot to make everything look nice and everything. And then
Yeah.
the day of, I go downstairs and I'm like, holy shit, she did a lot of shit. Like, when did you do that? And she's been doing it in the living room all like for the past few days. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
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 Other than that, same old stuff.
Yeah. No, I'm actually the another thing that's new to me is being the high school JV coach for soccer.
So okay, listen. Off air, he says he told me that. I had no idea this dude did any of
See,
that.
you don't listen to me, bro. This relationship is not going to work if you don't listen. You got to actively listen to me.
Mm.
You can't just sit there.
I'm not
You
trying to
know.
draw too much attention to myself. You know what I
I
mean?
like it. I like it.
So you're coaching.
Yes, I'm definitely coaching and stuff. Fucking loving it. Best thing about it is that my son's in actually part of the team.
Hmm.
So it's like it's just another soccer
So
team
you,
that we get to be part of.
so you're like a part of staff and everything. Like,
Technically, yeah, yeah. So I have to get an
okay.
ID and everything. I get an email.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I get an
Wow,
email and
you're a
stuff.
teacher
So
now.
I ain't no goddamn teacher.
So like, what
I
what
ain't,
are your hours like? Are you like
bro. I'm there
in every
from
day?
3:30. Yeah, 3:30 to 5:30 every day coaching. That's it. That's me.
But that's kind of
That's
a
what.
dream job for you, isn't it? Like you
Yeah.
enjoy
Yeah.
doing it, yeah? Or you don't like
Oh
dealing with
yeah.
kids? Don't lie.
No, the kids are phenomenal. I mean, there's a lot that they haven't been taught that it actually makes me excited to teach them because like I like to see the growth in them and stuff. And
Yeah.
what makes it even better is that they actually come up to me after soccer or something or throughout the week, and they actually express how much they enjoying it and stuff, and how much they're enjoying it again or something, and that just excites me more. So I don't know.
So you've been playing all your life then?
I've been playing all my life. I've been playing, I think, since I was 3 or 4.
Damn.
Yeah,
I
brother.
said that with
Yeah.
tennis. I started playing tennis when I was like around that age.
Really?
And yeah, and then when I got to elementary school, I stopped because we ended up moving. But yeah, I
Hmm.
did tennis for about 6 years, and I was going to continue. I never did, and so that's what another regret that I wish I would have pursued. But you know that's
So you
that's
like tennis?
yeah, yeah. I
I didn't know
played,
that.
yeah, I played a lot, and then was trying to get the kids in it, but it's a lot of fucking cardio than they're used to, and they think it's just all about just hitting the ball. It's not. It's like that cardio thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, tennis is my
Man.
thing. So I don't know anything about soccer.
I
Like,
don't know anything about tennis, and that's great.
yeah,
you
yeah,
you
yeah.
ever play like in a league and stuff? You trying to get back in the
I,
league?
I tried to play. So I went to military school
Hmm.
and I tried to join a team, but I was a lot heavier as I was getting older. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And they saw me more fit to be in like a contact sport. So I played a little bit of football, but it was never long enough for me to even consider myself like a part of anything because I was just bouncing around. So
Right. Right. No, I feel you. I feel you. Wait, you was bouncing around as in what?
what do you mean?
What do you? What? I
Hold
don't
on.
know what you mean by that.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. We got too much Diddy talk, man. We talking about bouncing.
Bro, it's starting to smell like baby oil in here. All right,
Oh,
so
can you? What
you're
is
gonna
it?
have to
A
explain
thousand?
yourself. What do you
A
What do you mean
thousand?
by bouncing around? Shut up.
Hang on. I'm gonna call Pete on you.
Golly, man.
Quit
Dog,
playing.
bro.
That's verbal abuse.
Crazy, crazy,
How many? How
crazy.
much bottles of baby oil did they find? 1,000?
1,000 or something. I don't know. It's surplus. I don't know. I
It was
don't
a
know what they
freaking
need that
dog.
for. So yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah, that's hitting the news everywhere. They said
It
that.
is.
I don't know if it's true, but I'm just telling you what I read. They said Kim K was nervous. They said her attorney sent some cease and desist on some of the investigation crap. Like I've been reading a whole bunch of different. Everybody's like, uh, Meek Mill was talking about, oh, you know, I bought a farm and shit like that, and people were like making jokes, but dude, people are ruthless, man.
Yeah,
It's just so much going on, and
bro. I mean, have you heard about Usher deleting his tweets after Diddy arrest?
which tweets?
I don't know. I guess the ones that Diddy was part of.
Oh, man, I want to say so. I mean, they say there was videos of celebrities doing like ungodly things, and other people bought them like to have them, and
Like
like
videos?
yeah, like videos of people
Really?
doing like these like he has blackmail videos, and so like
Oh, I
but then
believe that.
I've read that people would want to buy those,
Right.
and so it's like they always have something over somebody. You can't trust that shit.
You can't.
There's so
You
much
can't.
they say like there's a lot of these like sex parties, but it's always like the really wealthy people that are just into these non like these just weird things, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's what's gonna happen to you, man. You get up there too.
Nah. That's you. That's all you. I know you've been to a couple Diddy parties, so
So he's on suicide watch from the last thing I seen.
yeah. Yep. I
So
saw that too.
it's insane.
It
But
is insane. It's crazy. Watch. I don't. I don't get it. I don't get it. How like you're doing this for so long and stuff, and then all of a sudden you feel like I don't know. I don't know. Like
people tend to feel like they're godlike. You
Yeah.
know, I was talking to like someone about that, and they're like, at what point, how much money do you have to you start feeling like you think you're untouchable, you know?
Mhm.
And he did offer, I did see that he offered like a $50 million like a release
Mhm.
thing for him, and they denied it like multiple times. And so he's, you know, he's like, I got money, like I'll throw it at you if you need it. But like
And I'm sure he has a lot.
how much money does it take for someone to start to lose themselves, you know?
Mhm.
And I'm actually reading Marcus Aurelius, one of his books, and it talks about um, making good decisions while never compromising who you are, you know, or like not going with the flow on something because it's
Mhm.
you're going to gain something, and then but you're doing it that is not in the norm of who you are, you know? So don't compromise yourself. And so like with money, and there's a lot of, I think, spiritual books, but the Bible does talk about, you know, money being the root of all evil. And like we were having this conversation about, you know, you have like all this money and there's nothing that can happen to you. Anything you want, you just it's a phone call, it's a button away, you can have it. Like
Yeah.
I think that's where you get that lost of consciousness, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
understanding like what consequences are. So
Yeah.
and then the
No.
blackmail. It's the blackmail that they got on
It's
so
funny.
many different people. But anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if people don't know what's going on right now, Diddy was just charged with sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution. So,
I heard
September
he had to have
17th, pled
IVs.
not guilty and denied. He was denied bail twice that week.
Mm.
So,
I heard he had like IVs, like for to keep people, I guess, hydrated and keeping them
right.
like functioning for his
Right.
freak offs. Yeah, they're called freak offs. They said there some of his bottles were labeled freak off baby oil. He's actually gonna sell that shit when he gets out.
It's
Yeah,
gonna say-
whenever he gets out, freak off
it's
baby
like
oil. It's gonna be slick.
who? What was that? Was that Dave Chappelle who came up with booty juice
You talking about booty sweat?
or booty sweat? Yeah.
That was Tropic Thunder, dude. That was a good
What?
movie.
No, there
Yeah,
was actually like
Bust the
somebody trying
Nut
to
Bar and
sell it.
booty. You gotta look that up.
Was it booty? That shit was fucking hilarious.
Freak off baby
Uh,
oil.
he said, "What?"
Freak off
Well,
baby
I mean,
oil.
if you guys do want some, they sell booty juice energy drink on
What?
Amazon.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. I'm
Booty
about to
juice?
show you. Yeah,
No, it's
bro.
booty sweat. Booty sweat
Nah,
is from
yeah, I'm about to
Tropic
show you,
Thunder.
bro. I'm about to show you. There you go. It's $25 a can. Oh no, it's $25 a pack for a number of 12.
Oh,
There
okay.
you go, man. There you
Yeah, you're
go.
probably going to keep a doctor close when you drink that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
And we
not
also
sure.
got cocaine and Wild Tiger is actually pretty fucking good.
You
I
try that
also have
shit?
that in Afghanistan. And then
Really?
I'm surprised they don't have Rippets in here. That's what I'm drinking right now, baby.
Yeah, we were talking
Rippets.
about that off air. So explain
Hmm.
to people what the fuck that is.
Bro,
Got a
Rippet
little bit of
is the brand of
I've never heard it. Maybe I'm just out of the loop.
war. That's what I'm gonna call it. It's the brand of war.
Okay.
When an infantry man's ready to go fucking go out, patrol, get into a tick,
Yeah.
you drink a fucking Rip It. And
Really?
it's the most unhealthy fucking drink there is.
Oh, that's
We're
definitely
ready to
some
go after.
shit.
What's that?
There's some shit in that.
There's some shit in there. We don't know what it is, but I'm not worried about it either.
Hmm.
I just
Interesting.
know once I drink it, I'll be ready for anything. So
Yeah.
there you
Okay,
go.
so today's topic.
Today's topic.
What do you think about it?
It's what is it? Drawing too much attention to yourself,
Yeah.
which Sean Combs knows a lot about.
Oh, really?
Good old P Diddy knows a lot about that. Yeah, but so drawing too much attention to yourself is like last episode. Being about reputation and stuff. It can open doors or close them depending
Yeah,
on how you use it. Right? It's kind of like a sense of power. Right?
yeah,
If you know how to use it, then opportunities open up, and then just depending on how you're networking, influencing others, and then validating that, you can definitely just skyrocket and be successful and stuff. So I don't know. What do you think? Like, what's his benefits?
so looking at the book,
Hmm.
um, 40 Laws of Power. So pretty much it's like stand out. So when you say drawing attention to yourself, so what I got from essentially is stand out. Don't be like everybody else and kind of gain respect because you
Hmm.
kind of fall in line with the same people. You don't look no different. You look like they can just put you anywhere. If you want to make it, you have to be the odd one out, or you have to have a goal to
Hmm.
be a little bit different. So like if I'm for me as an example, like if I'm weight training and like I like Olympic weightlifting and there's a lot of mobility stuff. I'm going to the squat. So okay, so a lot of people may be okay with squatting a certain way, maybe right at depth, not getting full depth. For me,
Okay.
maybe I look at a higher standard, like being like an Olympic weightlifter, and I want to improve my mobility and I want to get a deeper squat. That's me trying to always aim higher. So then when it comes to me loading, now I'm stronger. Or maybe I have just better health overall because I focus on my mobility. So when you can't just fall in line with what's normal if you want to
Hmm.
be a little bit different and gain, something. And so I
Yeah.
do agree with that. And you have to kind of gain attention to gain respect and gain
Okay.
your value. Do you, I can see that because if you fall in line and you're just like everybody else, how are they
Hmm.
going to know that you have these abilities if you don't make that known? And so I think that's a little bit of common sense. So if you know you ever want to do something to a high degree, you're going to stand out. You're going to be that different one. And I think the book illustrates of that should be your focus to be different and not be
Yeah.
the same. So, do you
No,
agree with that?
definitely. I definitely agree with that. I mean, I think one of the passages in the book was being a master of drama, right?
Hmm.
So you're standing out throughout your actions and stuff, and generating curiosity to other people. So you're becoming the center of attention, and but yet you're still being unpredictable and still controversial. And controversy actually attracts more people than anything else, you know.
Hmm.
So
I know. I know.
definitely,
Listen, y'all. He told me to shut the hell up about politics and whatnot.
I
And
didn't tell you to shut the
I'm
hell
just
up
trying to
about it. I just
silence
said
you, y'all. I'm
let's
telling you.
minimize it because everybody hears it all the time, right? So I don't want to
No, I'm messing
continue
around.
that.
But I'm just saying that's why politics falls the way it does
It
because
does.
like you can be controversial and gain attention,
Hmm.
but that's just anywhere. Like nowadays, I feel like even social media is political.
But
And
let's bring it up then. Let's bring it up. All
okay,
right. So let's go one by one, right?
okay,
Kam- Kamala. Am I saying that right? Kamala. There we go.
you don't get
Kamala Harris.
they out there
What do
trying to
you
kill motherfuckers. Don't get shot. You better say it right. Goddammit.
Kamala Harris? What do you
Yeah.
think? Is she drawing too much attention to herself in a positive way or in a negative way? And don't be biased. Don't be biased
Okay.
now.
Okay.
So look at her as if you're
She has yes. Okay.
in
Ready?
her campaign.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I think she has to draw attention to herself to be valid. She has to draw attention to gaining the connection with people that she's one of them because that's all she has. So she has to have attention. But I think on
Hmm.
both sides, you have to have the the attention to even be in your position.
Mhm.
Now, for her, I do feel she is trying she's not drawing attention to hurt herself. I think
Mhm.
it's just kind of happening, but it depends on who you are, and I'm not being biased to conservative or if you're liberal. So, it just she's doing it to help herself, but I think with her past, it's hurting her because it's contradicting what she's saying now. And
Mhm.
also, she's also when she's out in public, she's not giving the people information.
Mhm.
So she's drawing it's just kind of like not going the way she wants to go.
Right.
If that's me trying to be as, nice as I can. Now let's go on the other side and you can talk about, Trump is he does say dumb things at times, you
Yeah.
know, and so he's not gaining right attention. I think in this race right now,
Mhm.
it's about salvaging what we have as like the last resort of the economy, trying to at least the economy at that. Okay, let's just say the economy because we all know what's going on. I mean, we all live it.
Yeah.
So I think the reason why he may have even some things that draw like not really good attention, he
Mhm.
is the better one to help with maybe turning things around. Because what is Kamala going to say? Like, I'm gonna help the economy, but you've been in office. So that's kind of where I feel with that.
Right, right, right. Interesting. Interesting you say that. Because obviously like everybody has a different opinion, right?
Mm,
There's people that support Kamala, and then
mhm.
there's people that support Trump. And then whenever you say that Trump has a better opportunity in supporting us, I mean, in which aspect though? From what he says is that in a military standpoint, a lot of countries fear him, but
Yeah,
then like how how is he supporting us in the people way? You know what I'm saying? Like how does that how does he help the people?
yeah. Well, I think okay, if we talk about it, and we don't have to stay on this topic, God, but if we talk about it, I think logically, he can help the
Hmm.
people with fixing the economy. You
Right.
can't really think about it emotionally right now because we have more serious things going on. If we had a good economy and really things were good, and then now you have this battle between like, you know, classes and races and if you want to have a talk about that, fine. But they
Hmm.
have a poor economy that is serious. We have issues going on as far as foreign policy. Now you have this kind of this race war thing kind of starting to happen, Then you're having these like we have so much going on that I think the economy is important. And
Hmm.
when talking about maybe some emotional things, I feel like that we can solve, but we have to kind of get ourselves positioned better because we're in just so much debt and the value of the dollar, everything's decreasing and going down. So I think that's the main focus,
Right.
logically, because that's going to be good for the people because now we're all going to live better, in my opinion.
Right.
And if this is not working where we're at right now, you got to maybe do something different to get a different result. We talked about that even
Yeah, that's true.
when
That's
trying, like, if you want to have something you never had, you have to do something you never did, and that was, Denzel Washington, but that's how I feel about it, so
no, I mean, yeah, yeah, I agree with you and stuff. Now, is 4 years for a president enough to change uh the aspect of the outsource of how the United States is?
run that by me again.
So, do you think 4 years in the president's term, like, is that enough time
Mhm.
to actually change the economy?
I think it's gonna be I don't I'm not all knowledgeable about it, but I know
Right,
that we could probably start moving in a better direction. That's all I can really say. I mean,
right.
there's just too much spending, but that's outside of that. But when it comes to the attention that you're getting, people in politics, they get the attention for the things that they do. And here's the problem: is that Kamala has made herself known very much who she is in the past and
Mhm.
now changing it. So it's about the attention you're getting. And she got the attention back when she said, I want to take your guns and I wanted to, ban fracking and I wanted to do all these things. She got the attention she wanted at the time. And now she's changing it up because she wants to gain a little bit different attention by something that is going to please a majority. But you've already said what you said. You kind of started weaning people out and you hurt your own campaign in that.
Mhm.
So now she's trying to do the best she can, but getting the right attention, but good attention from everybody that would maybe move the needle. And it's moving. I mean, I think she's getting a lot of people with the heart stuff, like, and what I mean by that is the things that the emotional, I'm triggered here. What is this? What is like, that sort of thing. And I
Yeah,
think that's what
yeah.
everyone here is so emotional. And then you have a generation built so much on how I feel that I think it's moving the needle. And I think that was kind of like the plan, in my
Yeah.
opinion. And so I think that's why she's moving that needle. But, you know, we know Trump's history and we know what he's been able to do. We didn't have the issues in foreign policy. So that's all I'm saying. She kind of her the intention she wanted, she's using, you know, strategically, but it's not really working.
Well, let's go to Trump now. Whenever he was in office and stuff, a lot of people says that he divided the country. And even though like the stock market and all the economy and stuff was actually doing extremely well and stuff, like everything was like all the people were like basically like segregating and like going against each other, so like how do you like what would you want that to happen again? Like how do you
So
know if that's not going to happen?
how would you like an example? Like what was like I don't know, like if they were saying he divided and in what way were people divided? Do you know?
Just, I mean, race.
Like throughout all that, I guess they're saying
Yeah,
that's their argument is that during his term, people were starting to turn on each other
yeah.
for what? Like just I like
Just
I wonder why. Like just money, like just how
I
wealthy
don't I
someone
don't I
is,
don't think necessarily money or anything, but
white
by
and
the way
black.
things, what like the things that he said potentially. And like I said, I don't know exactly the exact way he divided the country or anything, but I mean,
Mm,
I've heard a lot of people saying that the only reason why they don't want Trump back is because he did divide the country and he made people hate each other. And
I
I
see. I
mean,
don't, and I get that. I mean, I don't. I get what you're saying. That's all I
right.
say. But here's the thing. I think that's what, like, in my opinion, that's where DEI kind of it doesn't really fit with that argument because
Hmm.
it's really it talks about, yeah, everybody does get a part, and I know they're trying to include everybody, but they also are bringing in like this, like white people are all evil, you know.
Yeah.
And how does that help? In my opinion, how does that help? Like, why should a kid that knows nothing be raised to think that he is a problem or she is a problem just because it's how what she's born in?
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so I could
Yeah.
see that causing more of a divide. Um, but that's all. That's just based on what I think, you know.
Yeah.
So I think I don't really see that. But maybe other people have a different opinion, but they would have to really argue that.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? But
No, I get it. I get it. I don't know. It's just a interesting time
yeah.
today. Um.
Now, okay, so I have a question
Okay.
in regards to getting attention.
Hmm.
So what happens? Well, you've heard the phrase "fake it till you make it," you
Hmm.
know, and so in the book talks about presenting yourself higher than maybe even what you are. Okay,
Hmm.
you know, you have to demonstrate something that you want to obtain, even though you may not have the skills to perform, but you have to make other people see that so that they always associate you with strength or whatever the case may be,
Mhm.
or a certain skill of how you carry yourself and how you
Mhm.
execute things. So faking it till you make it is kind of what I got from that.
Right.
So one thing I thought about or thought about, can that go wrong? You think faking it till you make it?
Yeah, I do, because you everything, especially being in a position where you have to attract attention and stuff.
Mhm.
If you're not being deliberate about things, there's going to be downsides to everything. There's going to be consequences to everything. So everything that you have to do is calculated. You know,
Yeah.
you got to avoid mediocrity and stuff like that. You got to remain visible when you have to be invisible, but then you got to blend in um, when you have to blend in, and then you have to be visible whenever the attention should be on you,
Yeah.
you know? So everything
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
to do, it has to be planned and has to be calculated, and
I
you
agree.
can't miss that opportunity unless or until I'm sorry. You can't miss that opportunity, and if you do, you got to be just prepared for the criticism and all the envy that you
Right.
have, or all the
Yes.
stress that's going to come with it.
I think that there's so pretty much I think what you're saying is like there's a good way, there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
Like if you're faking it, like yeah, like you said, you have to have a plan because it's like I know I'm vulnerable and
Mhm.
I need to be learning while trying to make it through the days.
Mhm.
And so I think yeah, there could be like an overselling. And so like one thing I thought was like, but what happens if it goes well? You know? So I think
Mhm.
everyone takes that risk because they're like, oh, fake it till you make it, fake it till you make it. And then some people
Right.
aren't really ready. And then now if you're at a point where someone is now investing in you and your time because they trust you, and
Mhm.
then you tend to, let's say it just doesn't go your way, or you're faking it to the point where yeah, I've kind of dug myself in a situation where like I don't know, but I'm so up talking myself, or I'm trying to make a footprint that I've kind of put my own foot in my mouth, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then what happens if now someone has invested time and energy in you and money possibly, and so that ends that relationship, the aftermath of trying to get back from that, because now that's, as we talked about before, like it, you may have lost trust and then you
Mhm.
lost a good reputation and your
Yeah.
credibility. We just
Yeah.
talked about reputation. So now there's an aftermath of trying to get back in gaining trust. Like that's just like the worst case. But how often do you think that happens to people? Do you think
I
people?
think I think people get complacent, and whenever people get complacent is whenever that actually happens. You know, like you can be extremely good at what you do and no matter what obstacle that is thrown at you, you're able to control it.
Mm,
But then it gets to a point where, like, yeah, you know, like you're just getting way too comfortable in your position, and then you're not challenging yourself anymore. Um,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's it's really it's extremely like hard because there's so many positions in the world where you can actually like be an impact, you know. But then people don't do it because they're scared of the consequences and what can come with it.
What
But
happens?
just
Like,
having a strategic mind,
yeah.
is just it just it mitigates negativity and and it like it emphasizes like a better, what's the word I'm looking for? Not necessarily like, I guess a better a public image of yourself,
Hmm.
if that makes sense. I don't know exactly because I'm kind of like a little bit everywhere, you know. But
Yeah.
it's kind of hard, just like trying to put everything together, especially whenever it comes down to attention and stuff. Because even now, like between us and stuff, there could be like millions of people watching and shit. And if we're not saying the correct things, some people are gonna take it in the wrong way, even though we mean good,
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
it's
Do you think?
extremely like, what's that?
Do you think when it, which I think is like in a real time, like when you, let's say you start a new career and everybody wants you to have experience. So that's either like you have to get a certification,
Mhm.
and so like it's like you almost have to prove yourself in order to even be anything, you know?
Yeah.
And so you did
Yeah.
all this, you paid all this money and everything, you did all this time in school, and even still, it's like that wasn't good enough. Like, I'm starting out, like, I need to gain skills, but it's like you have to almost boast yourself to gain good, you know what I mean? You have to almost oversell yourself. And I've heard that before, like, you are your marketing tool, like how you carry yourself and present yourself.
Mhm.
And so, but gaining the attention is, I think, it's gonna make you shine. That's for sure if you can do it right, you know? I
Yeah.
think I think if you're like you said, you while faking it, you also need to be on the learning, like, mindset.
Mhm.
And it's not like okay, I'm able to make my way through and I'm comfortable with being here because I'm kind of making it, but I'm not the best that I could be.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, and some people, maybe it works with people that just have that knack for it, but I think you always have to be trying to learn so you can really be the person that you're trying to maneuver your way to being, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I agree. Like that's that's it's crazy because you got to get to a point where you know how to manage your failures to become highly visible,
Yeah.
you know? It's harder to recover from mistakes that you make uh whenever people are paying too much attention to, you know what I'm saying? Like especially whenever it comes to the media, they're always trying to change the way that you speak,
Yeah.
especially whenever they know how to sell
Mhm.
um a certain topic.
Yeah, I've heard that. Like, they'll clip certain things that people say, and then they'll use
Yeah.
it in their article or a way to kind of maneuver or change the
Mhm.
narrative a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that's like it's got to be a writing tactic, right? It has to be,
It has to
and
be, yeah.
and so no, you're right. Attention is huge, but that thing, we live in a world full of attention. If you want to, even no matter what you do, okay. And I don't even know why I should even be talking about this. There's a there's a company that's well known in St. Louis, and we haven't talked about it. There's a company, it's a fitness company,
Mhm.
and they sell like whey protein and different things like that. They're really well known.
Mhm.
And one of the co-founders and co-owner, I'm assuming, went on a
Yes.
tangent and started saying
About
certain things about
female
how female
officers.
cops, yes, okay, so
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, now in that example, they're trying to the other founder is trying to separate this other person from their brand because they've taken now a hit. People are talking about boycotting them, pulling their product off shelves. Like, that's
Mhm.
the wrong attention. But the crazy thing is, it's gonna get to the point where, like, you have to be worried about your past of gaining the wrong attention. That happened to fucking Kevin Hart. He wanted to host the Oscars, and they found that tweet about him saying something that was, um, it was something about anti-gay shit, about him taking a house and hitting over his son, in the head with, and so much backlash. It's like, you never
Mhm.
host the Oscars if you don't apologize. So that has completely changed. Now he's getting the wrong attention. That's not promoting him. But even
Right,
in
right.
that example, like, that is something where it's like, you get the wrong attention, it'll cost you money,
That yeah,
you
that's
know?
so true. That's so true. Yeah, whenever I read that article and stuff, especially about the supplement company,
Yeah.
uh golly, dogs. Um it's such a huge company that there's so much expectation from them, you know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to the fitness world. You know,
Yeah.
fitness world is all about people who are extremely disciplined into themselves. They're investing so much into themselves
Yep.
that whenever it comes to something so small or such especially of an opinion,
Mhm.
that, like you said, it's just overexposure.
Yo, I
Whether
had
he did it or not, or like he meant to do it or not, is crazy to me. Like he should have known like this was gonna
yeah.
happen.
So listen, so before I knew any context, I was having a conversation with Maddie about it. She's like, "Oh,
Hmm.
so and so said this." And I was like, "Really?"
I
And
lost.
talking about, female cops. So I started having this back and forth like conversation with like why I could see that there would be issues, like, okay, like maybe the weight difference and strength difference.
Hmm.
And so they had to rely maybe on their equipment a lot more. I know that a lot of officers get backup. So I'm just trying to have this logical conversation with her about the topic. But motherfucker, I then read the transcript and what this dude said was nothing, not even about like the actual logic aspect of why women would struggle with it based on that. He's talking about all their bitches and they got a fucking badge and a gun and I could punch this motherfucker in the face and end her goddamn life. Now that's not word for word, so don't. But I'm
Yeah,
like, holy shit! I was like, I think he
it's
had there's a bit of a power struggle. You know what I mean? There,
yeah,
because I mean, women in power obviously is a trigger for him, and it kind of
yeah.
came out in the worst way.
Dude,
Yeah, that's fucked
man,
up,
like I said, dude, like I don't know what he was thinking throughout that time or
right?
anything, but it goes exactly with this episode, right? As just drawing too much attention to yourself, right? And you should know, as a CEO of a um extremely profitable company and stuff, you're gonna lose privacy, and it just comes with the territory, right? There's high expectations, there's a lot of pressure that goes into it. There's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of criticism and a lot of judgment, and and then you got people who envy you so much that obviously they're going to that do stuff and say stuff to actually destroy your reputation.
Yo, wouldn't this be the best time for a competitor to kind of swoop in
Just swoop in,
and,
bro.
and be
This is
like, "Hey, we're not about that shit."
end them,
Exactly, and that
end
was
them.
about we talked about that in the other laws. It's like,
Yeah,
always keep your reputation because that's a huge thing. Someone can just come in there and be like, they connect to the people
they
in your
do.
market because you got to think how many women purchase that product, how many women officers use that product and have been sold to that product. I bet they felt abandoned. I bet they felt like they're like, really, like what the fuck did I do? I gave you my hard-earned money. I'm
Hmm.
still out here in these streets trying to see if today's my last day. So like he disconnected from his moneymaker, and that is
Yeah.
connecting with people. It's really not about, what you can really provide them is that connection. Well, of course it is a product, but you have
Hmm.
to provide them a form of connection. And when you start losing connection with the people that are actually supporting you, that was the dumbest move you could have done. And
Dumbest.
you know what I mean? That is just
Yes.
like, and I think he got too comfortable. I think maybe like we talked about even with Diddy is um did he feel almost like godlike? Did he get too comfortable? Did he feel like everything would have been okay? Like, or and there's the other side of it, like so much pressure of always presenting yourself a proper way. It's like, did it slip out? Did he subconsciously just start talking because his whole life is about talking? He's on a podcast, right? And
Hmm.
so it's like, did he like finally like did it slip a little bit? Did he like you know what I mean? But that was a dumb
It, I'm not gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Like he put himself in this situation, and so
yeah.
I was gonna say I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and think
Yeah.
that he was with the boys. Somebody just started recording, you know what I'm saying? But no,
Someone set
fuck
him up.
that, bro. He put his ass in that situation, ruining his company's
Hold on.
reputation and stuff.
Do you
And
know if
bro,
he was live? Was he live or was it recorded? Because if it was recorded, don't they edit.
that could be edited, right? I don't know. I don't remember whether it was live or recorded. The
Yeah.
only thing I remember is his stupid ass fucking putting himself in a situation where to manage that
He's like,
risk is
take my
gonna
money.
take a miracle.
It's
It's
like,
gonna
yeah,
take a miracle,
exactly.
bro.
Take my money. Like, I don't understand why you would do that.
Yeah. I think the only way that he can actually get out of this situation is if he does a public apology and then
Mhm.
actually be truthful on what he meant by it and stuff.
Okay,
Whether if
okay,
it's
so this
if
is
it's
aw
really about an ex girlfriend or some shit like
yeah.
that, or if he just been fucking shooting up steroids and he's like, hey, it was just a little road rage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so this is perfect. Okay, now that I'm thinking about it. So there was this I think it was a Republican dude, and I don't know
Mhm.
details, but just hear me out. This goes with the topic. So I was listening to a podcast and it was talking about when these certain bad scandals for politicians come out and how
Mhm.
some can survive them and some can't.
Mhm.
Obviously Bill Clinton survived that shit.
Yeah.
Even I mean, they're trying to nail Trump to the cross, but he's still popular. Whereas,
Yeah.
like, some people may not be like that. So, listening to a podcast, and there was this one Republican, I think he was a Republican, and he presents himself in a certain way, but then they got like word that he was in this forum and he was talking all sexual and shit. And it was just like not him, but he's talking about, I want to do this to you, bitch. I want to do this to you, motherfucker. And these people found out because this nigga used the same fucking name. Sorry, I have to bleep that shit out. But he used the same fucking name and everything. That shit came out. It's like, how do you go about saving your reputation or like saving that attention? Because now that's so negative and it's in the spotlight. You know
Right.
what I
That
mean?
it's that's crazy because there's times whenever you're just like you're just within your close circle or you think you can trust these people and stuff,
Mhm.
and then it gets to a point where you like say some shit that you think is gonna be funny. Everybody's laughing, so you push yourself a little bit more, touching that water with your toes and stuff, seeing if you're gonna drown or not, and then it just opens up to a fucking flood of
Yeah.
just exposure and
Yep. Yep. There's
man.
this one joke. It's like, if you guys ever seen it was two friends, and it was like, if you guys ever seen our group chat, we'd be in jail with all the fucking shit they say. But you have to
Yeah,
present this way that like you're really, yeah, it's insane.
it is
It's
insane. It's
insane.
it's
So,
fucking
yeah,
crazy to me.
reputation is like a huge thing. And,
So okay, so you know that I from what I think, what do you think he has to do to manage this mistake?
who we talking about now? This
The
guy that I was.
fucking the supplement. I don't want to
Oh,
say the
oh,
company name.
does it
I mean,
matter
you
though?
know
'Cause
the
it's already
company.
public. Are we?
Do you know
Are we
the
not?
company
We're not
name?
giving false information.
We're not giving false information, but I also don't want to. I mean, it's still
You don't
under
want to promote.
investigation, right?
Yeah. What?
Isn't this like under investigation or some shit like
I don't
that?
know. So
And
it's alleged, but so what? I mean, so they published it on TV, but that's why
that's
I
very
kinda hold
true.
back because it's so local to us
Yeah,
that because I don't really but the dude did some stupid ass shit. Like, how why
it's
would you say
stupid,
that?
bro. And
How
you know what's
okay,
crazy
we
is that
recover.
a
I
lot of
don't
the local police departments were actually, uh, like they were sponsored by them.
I know that he used to donate. They used to donate to him, and they're like, "I don't want your money," is what I read. Actually,
Yeah,
I'm
and
that's a lie, I didn't read it, someone told me that. So it could be bullshit. But okay, so the question was, can he recover from that? I don't know. He would yeah, like you said, a good apology, but whew, I don't know.
but
Some people
even
don't forget that. We talked about that last week when it came to
yeah, we
reputation.
did.
You could even if I said something bad about like let's say you have a restaurant and
Mhm.
I'm like, dude, I got food poisoning. He don't wash his hands and he in the bathroom for too long. And I hear these people moaning and shit, and then he's cooking your food. I could tell that to somebody, and even though it's bullshit, that stays in the back of their mind. They may like,
Yeah,
oh, like I may not
yeah.
want to, even though that's just one bad thing. That's what we talked about, like reviews on Amazon. Like
Mhm.
how many bad reviews does it take for someone to be like, oh, you know what I mean? But it may sway somebody though, so that's why it's never good. I know eBay, like they'll try to make it right. Like if oh like oh you gave this person like a 2 star, like what can I do to make it like a 5 star? Because that one negative review can completely change everything.
Yeah,
And so apology probably would be good,
yeah.
but then this dude gonna have to be at every fucking female activist. He gonna have to be at every event. I don't know. How would you do that? And then now you have to gain the trust from the cops because it's not just the women. It's
Yeah,
gonna be also because they look at them probably as officers as well. Like, that's our
yeah.
group, that's our team.
That's
And so now
family, you
you
know,
have
you're going out there to risk your life to
yeah.
save other people and to make sure that the law is being followed, and
Can
now
you
you're
imagine that person that had a partner that was a female that died and was
oh,
very
man.
heroic? So now, like, yeah, dude, it goes deeper than that, and now that's who you
Yeah.
offended, and you just didn't offend that you didn't just offend that person, it's our unit, like you said, it's our team, it's like the Fast and the Furious, the
Yeah, yeah.
family, you know
Family,
what I mean?
bro, I was about I
You know,
wish
I've
Vin
never seen
Diesel's
that
face
one
just
movie.
popped up right now and you just say family.
Family.
God damn, but yeah, dude. All
Yeah,
this
have you ever
attention bringing
seen
power and opportunities and all these challenges and stuff is just you gotta be careful and you gotta really, really manage that emotional and mental stress,
Yeah. I'm
you
sure it's
know.
a lot. I mean, it has to be. It has to be, but you also have to
Yeah.
be you have to have a sound mind when you start being out publicly, you know, even
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, this could go nowhere. It could go really good. You know, we're optimistic, but like, you know, we're very open. But it's
Right.
also you still have to consider like the things you say that's you got to be logical with it. You got to use your head a little bit. And I think in
Yeah.
that situation, it's not. And so, have you ever seen the show Righteous Gemstones? I'm rewatching that show.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
What's it about?
So it pretty much talks about mega churches,
Oh.
and it talks about how they're not as good as they seem. So they're very corrupt in a way of they don't really practice what they preach is the main whole thing.
I
And
believe it.
so there was a few episodes of one of you have a head pastor and he has these three children,
Mhm.
two boys and a girl, and
Mhm.
the girl ends up having, and they're all like 40s at this age. They have families generally, or at least they have partners, and so, but they're still they're so spoiled that they're still trying to make it through life in a way. They're
Mhm.
part of
Mhm.
this church, but they have their own dirt and what they do. So when it comes to having good attention and good reputation, one of the children, the daughter, goes out and has a bit of like an affair, and now this person she was having an affair with comes to the church demanding money, and now you have to
Mhm.
pay that off like a Diddy case, you know, and try to like make not have the wrong intention, you know
Right,
what I
right, right.
mean? And so it's huge when you have more to lose, you know,
Right.
but even if you're, like, not super huge, your reputation and the attention you get, it does mean a lot. But also getting the attention of being good, you know, you
Mhm.
wanna promote the good things about you and not it's not all negative. So
Right.
that means kind of outshining maybe people who may not have the same drive as you, and that's okay too. But in order for you to kinda get anywhere, you have to try to be above average in anything you do. And
Yeah.
that's why we come back in it it's all about learning. So we'll
Mhm.
get better as we go. We'll get better in some of the things as far as, you know, how we present information and just our chemistry with all of
Mhm.
being hosted. So it takes time in doing it. But we had the same mindset of always trying to be better the next time we come back.
Yeah.
So that's also getting good attention. It's not all negative, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, so I know we hit on this before and stuff, but has your thought process changed the more that we get into this book? Like your values in life, the way you actually look at
So my
things.
honest opinion, I felt this book was kind of aggressive in the
Mhm.
beginning. Like there is value to the information given, but it depends on the mindset of the person.
Mhm.
And here's an example. I think this book is made for people who are desiring to have some sort of power or this sort of strength about them in
Mhm.
whatever it takes. I think for someone who is not like that, reading this, it can be almost like ways of manipulating your way to gaining power. And I guess that's the whole point of it. So in the beginning, I'm like, you know, it says like, even to be submissive. So don't outshine your master. The first time I
Mhm.
read that, I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
why would I want to do that? Like, it's suppressing who I am. And it kind of explains the backlash of it. You outshine your master, you may become a target for that person who has more power than you. So, I'm starting to see the points of the book. And
Mhm.
so my opinion has a bit it's changed a little bit.
Okay.
Did you like it from the beginning?
And
Kinda read through it?
so yeah, so in the same like mindset as you, like it is a bit aggressive and stuff, and I didn't know how to exactly take it at first and stuff, especially
Mm.
whenever the first law is, you know, or never outshine your master or something like that, or whatever
Knew
it
you would
is. And
struggle with that. I knew you
was that
would. I knew you would struggle with that because you're I don't take you as a very submissive person, and
right?
even
Yeah.
so for the audience, we've worked together, and you're the one that's very tend to be outspoken, you
Hmm.
know? And so, and not that it's a negative thing, but when someone who's really outspoken, they tend to also have this thing of like, if you're wrong, you're wrong, no matter who that person is, which
Yeah.
also can be, if I'm why should I submit to you and I'm better than you, even though you're my boss, or I can get that. Like you're no different than me. I think
Yeah.
they have a more of and I think that's a more of a winner's mindset because they can kind of pick through, okay, yeah, you're my boss, but yeah, I can do your job. Like if I just
Hmm.
knew this, I could do your job way better. And
Yeah.
so I could see you struggling with that.
Yeah. Like I said, the book was extremely like extreme. Like it got to a point where I was like, well, I don't know how to do that. Like I subconsciously know how to do that, and
Mhm.
I knew that, and I knew so it was kind of boring at first, and it wasn't as interesting as I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
And then now that I'm getting to a point where I'm like, okay, like this can actually benefit me more and stuff, or I can actually change my ways instead of just being so, I wouldn't say controlling, but I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it without actually sounding like a fucking asshole or anything.
Mhm.
Because I don't think I'm an asshole. Because I still listen to people's opinions. I still listen to how people I want to.
Yeah, I think you give people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
I
that's what
think
I'm saying.
for you, if I I think the only thing is the chances you may give people, I think it's very slim. Like if you can't prove
Mhm.
yourself that you can do it, the first time, sure, okay, I'll give you that one. Second time, okay, like maybe it's the whole 3 strikes you're out. And then I think
Yeah.
you start questioning, which is not a bad thing. And I think it's a lot of a winner's type of mindset. Is
Hmm.
because you're not generally, I think people are more comfortable with their situation when they kind of are more submissive to wrong leadership.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But when you have those
Yeah.
stand up to it, I can see,
Yeah.
and so, but then in the book also says, like, even there's a way of, like, how to get yourself to that position by even, um, being low key.
Hmm.
Don't outshine, be more strategic. Don't feel like you're taking a loss or someone's getting over on you or you feel like some is leading you. Think of it as like, okay, I know the target and I'm gonna try to maneuver my way to his position, and then I'm gonna make
Hmm.
this a lot better. One
Yeah.
thing that I kind of found that was a little bit depressing when I first started reading this book was all friends are pretty much have a poor intent or can like it's more common and having more enemies. That's something I kind of struggle with. Was like that just seemed like a miserable life to live.
It
But I
does.
guess if you're in that field of maybe possibly business, I mean, I think
Hmm.
it's generally going to be business. That maybe it holds value because everybody. So maybe not in your everyday life, but use friends.
Yeah.
So maybe in a business standpoint, I can see, okay, never really gaining friends, possibly, or always thinking that maybe somebody has like an objective against you, possibly. But I just felt like it was a miserable way of living. I don't
Right.
know if it just seemed very miserable for just every day. Never
Yeah.
trusting anybody. I feel like it would make you paranoid.
Yeah, 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 and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just it was a little boring to me. Like at first, at least, at first it was a little boring to me, and then it got to a point where I was like, all right, there's a lot of things I don't know. I should probably try, but manipulating others and stuff I'm no villain or anything, so I ain't trying to manipulate people. But I can see it like in a, like you say, in a business standpoint, or in a point in your life where you need to elevate your the next or elevate to the next level.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess you have to manipulate people because
Yeah.
at
I
1%
know.
in the world,
It was a struggle. It was a struggle
yeah,
reading. Like you said, it seemed like more manipulating.
yeah, and just creating enemies, the scrutiny and criticism that you gotta
Yeah.
that apparently you have to take and stuff. Where if we look at it, that all this that you have to do to become powerful or wealthy and stuff, and then you look in the other side where people are more uh, like low class, and they're
Mhm.
still happy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So which side do you want to be on? You
Right.
know, because
Yeah. That's the
there's
thing.
happiness in both sides, right?
Right. Yeah, because you've heard, I'm sure, like that parent that was so focused on scaling that they missed out on the lives of their kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so but now they have so much, but they also didn't gain a whole lot when it came emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
So now they've kind of it's a give or take. And you think that, yeah, but they have this, I can provide this, they can do whatever they want. But it's like they miss something emotionally, which can now be passed down to maybe their relationships down the road.
Yeah.
Now they have this commitment issue because maybe they felt like there was no commitment in that. But in a way it
Right.
was because you're working hard and you're giving them what they are. So it's a bit of a balance, you know. But every
Yeah.
situation is different if you look at it and how it could play a big role.
No, I mean, yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't know. It's an interesting book. Very interesting. I don't know exactly like who I could actually um advise somebody to read this,
Mhm.
because
I
I mean
know.
there's a lot of good things to that comes from the book, right? But then it's like a book of like a villain.
I know, exactly. No, I completely agree. It's like if the Joker was an accountant, you know what I mean? And so, yeah,
Yeah.
I completely agree. So, yeah, there was just some things that I kinda was drawn back to it, and it's like, I don't see, me wanting to I could use maybe if I need to be motivated in how to maneuver through a certain, situation,
Hmm.
maybe looking at it, it's like, okay, don't be so emotional because it does talk about that. Don't be so emotional. Don't make emotional decisions. And so I think the book can possibly be more logical, which, as we talked about, even in politics, logically, some things may be good to focus on, but there is also maybe an emotional like spot that could also be very important. But there's that
Yeah.
balance. And so,
Right.
um, yeah, yeah. There's a book that I'm also reading, like I talked about, Marcus Aurelius. It's actually called Meditations, and it
Hmm.
talks a lot about a lot of like the moral stuff that like we've been kind of hitting on, like when it comes to friends and relationships and
Hmm.
different things like that. It's more of a positive look, but it's very stoic. You know, Marcus Aurelius was a philosopher, so he has some really good information to read. So I think it's good to kind of read both to
Hmm.
even feel the energy and the shift
Yeah.
of just the authors.
Yeah. Now, okay, since you are reading two books that are technically the opposite from
Yeah.
one another, which way are you leaning towards? Like what life path are you leaning towards?
Mm. Um, I think there's some really good fundamentals here with Meditations of
Hmm.
Marcus Aurelius. Um, it talks about one thing that kind of drew my attention was one thing that the book said was a person that lusts after things, maybe like items. Maybe it's lusting in um, a relationship or whatever the case may be. But let's just say things,
Hmm.
maybe greed. It says doesn't don't value things that you don't have.
Mhm.
And it says that a man that or a person that lusts is going to look weaker than someone who is an angry person because anger generally comes from emotion, a feeling, whereas lust is something, it's a bit of a weakness. Like I'm
Mhm.
addicted to this, I'm addicted
Mhm.
to that, or I want this, or I'm lusting after like having all these different vehicles or whatever the case may be. That sometimes you have to, it kind of straightens you out a little bit in a way of like, this is the line of path that you should kind of go, versus this other book is more like you said, it's a little bit conniving. It's a
Mhm.
little bit kind of the opposite. One of the points it makes is like, making amends to broken relationships. Like if you have a disagreement, don't sit with it, fix it. Versus this other book is talking about friends shouldn't be trusted, and to essentially use them or kind of make them think one thing so you can then strategically advance somehow. So it's a lot different.
Mhm.
Um, and I guess it depends on the person. I think this Meditations is a really good book, but it's also good to kind of get some of the thought process of what it's taking to gain power. And
Mhm.
then maybe we can really analyze it on like, is there a better way to go about it? Or is
Mhm.
this actually the way of gaining power? And that's why
Right.
I titled 48 Laws of Power. So I'm still interested in the philosophy of gaining power. You know what I
Right. Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And is
Is
this
there a
really
middle ground?
right? Can it be
Yeah.
tweaked? You know?
Yeah.
And then yeah. So
You know what? You know what's crazy about books and stuff that even though there's a lot of information in there. Now, is it information that people use? Because it's obviously got to be about experience, right?
mhm.
So, who Robert? It was Robert Greene that made this book, correct?
Yeah.
Believe so. Yeah, Robert Greene. So, like, like you said, like Robert Greene is basically has the understanding of like power dynamics and stuff like that, right?
He had to have
And
been
tactics in
successful.
using against people and shit.
Yeah.
So does that mean that he had that experience? What he had to do to manipulate people to somehow become extremely high on the totem pole?
Yeah. I
Now
guess, yeah,
what
I would have to look him up. Like, I would have to see his record, you know what I mean? And so,
right.
like, we're really like, I don't really know much, so, yeah, maybe we do our research. But, yeah, like, if it did it work for him? Possibly. The thing is, would it work for everybody? I don't know. And is it just a good read, or is it something that's possible for everyone to pick up?
Mhm.
Do you have to, and I guess it would illustrate the change of the person because you can't be a certain type of person. Obviously, I think this is weaning out people and saying, "Can you do these things? If you can't, then this is obviously not gonna work for you. Or can you change and become this?" And
Mhm.
so the problem becomes is if you become this, let's say this is not just gonna change you in a business standpoint. This is gonna change you in your whole life because now you're
Yeah.
adopting a whole mindset. Don't trust your friends. Okay, you have no one else. Who do you have now? Your spouse. Okay, are you gonna start not trusting your spouse because you don't trust anybody else? Oh my God, she's doing this, she's doing that. Like, I don't know. Let's say you're so overworked, you start going crazy, you start losing sleep. Now, this is an
Mhm.
extreme. I'm just running with it. And then next thing you know, you're thinking your wife is cheating or your spouse is cheating, and now like you're getting so paranoid that you start doing shit that is outside
Right.
you. Like, I'm gonna
Right.
follow.
Now
I'm
you're
gonna
running now you're running back to the book where you highlighted all the
stop.
what do I
And
do?
so, yeah, like, it could be where it changes you to the point where, like, now it's ruining everything else. So I think
Mhm.
it depends on the person and the person that can actually separate, maybe family life and this, or your interactions, like, you can tap into it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a skill that you tap into.
Yeah.
It's like you being in the service, you've done things, you may not be that same mindset, you can tap out of it because this is not work. I'm at home now, like, I'm cool. If you have someone that
Mhm.
can't do that, it leaks in and destroys a lot of things, you know?
Right. It, and you know what's okay, so I don't mean to bring up religion or anything and stuff, but
God damn
like
it.
there's but you
I hate
like talking
talking about
about
this.
this, so
I'm
I'm gonna pick your brain. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
So reading the 48 Laws of Power and stuff,
Mhm.
it approaches an ethical approach, right?
Yeah.
The Bible, it
Mhm.
presents more of like a spiritual framework. It emphasizes love, humanity. It emphasizes a, like it is basically the opposite of the 48 Laws of Power,
Yeah,
right?
it's like the 10 commandments. It's like,
Yeah,
this is what
exactly.
you do, and this is what you Yeah. 48 Laws of Power gambles with that. It,
It,
like,
yeah,
it it around, like, it's like, "I'm just gonna touch it, but I'm gonna go press the button," you know? So, it's like, it still wants to follow certain things, but it's like it's saying, "You gotta do a little dirt to get a little bit of
hmm
whatever," you
yeah.
know? And, I mean, that's what like, okay, it talks about manipulating the people to think one thing so that you can have them, like, go down a path that you want. Like, it's just it's very conniving. But then it's
But
also
let
like
me let me ask you something though. Let me ask you something. All right. So the Bible is basically is a tool for serving others and fulfilling God's will, right?
okay,
It teaches
that's
you
it. Okay.
greatness of humanity and stuff and how to serve others, not dominating or manipulating them,
Mhm.
but in a way like um doesn't that like kind of like contradict itself because then you have to basically give yourself to God, where the 48
Uh,
laws of power is something where you're maintaining and exploiting others, and it's advocating strategies and
yeah.
manipulation and deception and stuff, but yet you're you're still, but this is all about you now. Like this book is more of a tool to make sure that you are good and that
Mhm.
you live for a fulfilling life
In power,
in the
right?
world
Are
that
we
you're in now.
talking about okay, 48 laws, right, in that point.
Yeah.
Okay, so I look at the Bible as more like there's lessons in them. Okay. So the Bible's we do a lot of bad things and there's lessons in it. And so even the things you read, there's you're reading somebody's life. It's a story and
hmm
that the value of it and how this person kind of how they live their life or the journey of their life.
hmm
So like even David, King David, like he made mistakes, but yet he had power. But and God like still showed favor to him. But he had to live with his mistakes of the things he did, but yet he was still King David. And so I think I could see maybe some of the things of what the 48 laws of power is maybe possibly in the Bible of what people maybe have done or did
hmm
like in the stories. And then there's like then you have the 10 commandments of the things that you should do or things to strive for. But then I think also the Bible does talk about like us not being perfect and that's where prayer and like having grace is. So
hmm
nothing about it like again, they have the 10 commandments and these are the laws and yet these are laws us being human that we're not always going to follow them. And there is you have to have a realization that you're not perfect. But I think that then the main point is repentance and forgiveness.
Right.
So I can see 48 laws being, you trying to make it, whereas the Bible, it's more of you go through stuff, maybe you use some of these laws or whatever just to gain that. Um, but then you have to learn a lesson through all that. And not every story turns out the right way. And maybe someone who did do these things, had power for a while, but then there was a great downfall, you
hmm
know? And I think that's where the kind of Bible highlights those things.
Right.
So
Well, and it's interesting that you say that because you need faith, right?
mhm, yeah.
And when it comes to faith and stuff, it just, I mean, is basically believing something uh that you don't have any proof of, but
Mhm.
deep down inside you, it's real,
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
know, where the 48 laws of power is apparently an experience that somebody did that mastered and put
Proven.
into
Right.
a book, right? It's been proven.
Yeah.
So how would you now if the both books were in front of you and you needed to and you needed to like fulfill your life,
Mhm.
what do you think like which one? And
So
I guess you're gonna be a little bit biased because you're extremely religious, correct?
what? Me?
Right?
No.
Like
Hell no.
you don't think you're not? I
I don't
believe
even
you
believe
are.
in nothing. I'm kidding.
No, but I'm
I'm
just saying, like,
okay. Yeah.
and it's I guess it's okay being biased, especially at this,
No.
you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like,
Okay. So I feel like that's what manifestation is.
mhm,
So like even we talked about last time, it's like you have to you have to say what is going to happen for you
mm,
to like start to believe it.
mhm,
Believing is
mhm,
faith. And so like I think even in that book you have to manifest a personality to change to become something. And I think you having faith, it's kind of the same thing. You have to believe. It's just it's not as real because you would believe in more in what's like more so possible than what you would think. But I think you also whereas having faith is you always have to even having faith in yourself. Like you may think that oh, I know I can do this, but you also have to have a level of faith that knowing you can do it. Because if you let's say even if it's throwing a ball, even though you can throw a ball, if you don't believe that you can do it well, you'll never reach that potential. You have to have faith in yourself to even reach that. And I think that's where in my opinion the Bible comes in. It's like understanding that you have faith and here's the thing that not everything is going to go good. I don't want people to think that the Bible is always preaching of good things. It's not like that. The Bible talks about having bad seasons. It's just having faith that knowing that you're going to get out of it. For example, let's say you're a business owner, but even for you as being a dad, like your kids, you're doing the soccer thing, telling your
mhm.
students that suck right now. It's like, dude, you are fucking. You're not going to tell them that, but it's like you're horrible. You know,
Right, right,
but you
right,
have
right.
to make them know that there is a possibility that they're gonna get past that roadblock, and that's where you come in. They're gonna start
Right.
having faith in you that you can teach them, but they're gonna start having faith in themselves that they can progress past it. And so
Mhm,
that's the kind of how I feel. It's like you have to have a faith that there's gonna be a downtime, and then you're gonna move past it, but you have to believe in yourself too.
mhm. Yeah.
Whereas, yeah, I know they wanna say like, "Okay, I don't trust friends because it's been proven that I've been turned on, so I'm gonna
Mhm,
kinda keep them at a distance." But what happens, like, let's say in that situation, now you don't have any trust in anybody, so you can't make the relationships that may help you and even in business because you're
right.
so cut off, you have no faith in anybody else. But that could that hinder you progressing in a bigger way where now it's like I'm not hold back by not networking with people because everyone has this intent of hurting me or taking my business or my money, that nobody's a friend. You
Mhm,
know? I hope
mhm.
that answered
Hey,
that.
no, it did. It did. It was pretty. It was good. So I have these two kind of definitions of faith.
Mhm.
One is towards the book, and the other one is towards the Bible, right?
Yeah.
So one is towards the book, towards the 48 laws of power is interpersonal faith, which is having faith in someone can mean trusting their character, like reliability or abilities, right?
Mhm.
Um, but towards the Bible, it's faith in the future, which refers to hope or belief that things will work out positively, even in the outcome of uncertain. People may say, I have faith that everything will turn out fine,
Yeah.
meaning they'll hold hope or optimistic belief despite not knowing for sure.
Mhm.
So I ask you, do you go by a system that's already been proven, or do you go through or do you go by faith?
Okay, so I think you have to look at it as in faith, and we're talking about God here, and
Mm-hmm.
if you're Christian, Jesus, but even Catholics, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and Jews, God Himself, whatever. Okay, so I don't think that the right way that's proven, I think in God, he's going to want you to do he wants you to go the best route. They're not going to be mediocre. And I
Mhm.
think people separate that God being something that is less efficient and less productive.
Mhm.
So if something is proven, maybe, yeah, that's the path you go. But in a situation where maybe as you're going through that path that you hit a roadblock,
Right.
and then now you have faith that there's something that's going to come from this because you keep the faith. And I think the faith also can mean motivation. Being having faith, I'm more motivated to get past it. So I'm going to be maneuvering through all the things that I have access to. So let's
Mhm.
say maybe you have something um, had kind of fallen through. Let's say you're like a producer and you need to fill a position or like a gig, and you don't. Someone just dropped out, which was going to be a lot of revenue for you that night, and now there's nothing. But now you're like, okay, I need to make rent this month. I need to stay open. I'm going to have faith that this is going to work out. It doesn't mean that you're not going to do any legwork. I think that having faith doesn't mean you're lazy and you're wanting to get something just magically happen to you. So now you're out, you're hitting emails, you're calling people, hey, I need to fill this. And it just so happens that something worked out because you were driven enough and had faith enough to work hard to make it happen. I think there's times where miracles happen, but there's also the legwork that comes with it. So that's
Right.
how I feel.
I like that. I
You know
like
what
that.
I mean? And
Yeah.
don't be lazy.
Don't be
Pray.
lazy.
Don't be lazy. Don't be
Don't be
lazy.
lazy. All right. So what do you say to and I don't want to continue this religious path and stuff because I know you're getting tired of it and getting tired of me asking these questions and stuff. But as a person like me, being agnostic and stuff,
Mhm.
believing in a different higher power than everybody else, I don't necessarily believe in the same systematic like Bible type deal. Like,
Mhm.
and I mean this with all due respect
Oh,
to
that's
all
good.
faiths and stuff, to all religions. But uh, what would you advise me in going forward, especially being, um, drawing so much attention to myself and how would I go about, my life and
Mhm.
being, I guess, successful? You say?
So I think through being successful, it's also having a clear conscience. So I
Mm-hmm.
would say go with the if you look at the 10 commandments, that's the basic. Essentially, if you look at that, pretty much hold good relationships. Don't steal from nobody. Don't cheat on nobody as far as even
Mm-hmm.
in business or relationships. Don't try to cheat nobody out. Don't try to be conniving because as soon as you start breaking relationships and so they start going sour, now you have these enemies that may have malintent for you. So
Right. Right.
that's one. And I mean, that's a huge thing. It's about your reputation. And you want to have a good one. So if you look at the 10 commandments, I feel like that's a basic, but if you look at it as a whole, it's just don't burn bridges if it's not necessary and just maintain good rapport with people that you are working with and people that know you. And so that would be my best advice. And that's basic. And to me,
Yeah.
it does fall closer to some form of religious practice versus having none. Because if
Right.
you
Right.
have
Right.
none, maybe that it's all, you don't really have this conscience, but that's not for everybody. I think
Right.
some people that aren't religious, I was listening to some guy talk about what happens if someone who isn't religious is a better person than I am? That's a possibility too. I think a religious following, it's more than that. I think it's more of spiritual deliverance.
Right.
But to gain a good reputation is to maintain, I think, good relationships. So that's my advice. That's to answer the question.
Uh, I mean, I completely agree.
Mhm.
No, that was good. I like that, and it definitely is starting to actually intertwine with the next episode, which is being rewarded for somebody else's work.
Mm.
So,
Being
using
humble.
other people's skills, yeah, humbling yourself.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? So, using other people's skills to achieve your goals in life. So, and that's crazy because in the army, whenever you do something good in some type of form, whether we're training or we're just back in garrison or something. If what I mean, people don't understand what garrison means, but it's back to where you're at your company. Uh,
Mhm.
so basically just interacting, doing classes and stuff like that. But every time somebody achieves a certain thing and that's being recognized, their commander or their lieutenant, their platoon leader, somebody that's higher than them, always
Mhm.
gets recognized for it because
Right.
of what the lower enlisted does.
Yeah, yeah.
So, so it's definitely going to be a good episode that we're going to have.
I want to. I have a question for the audience. How would you feel if someone else was given the credit for your work? Like, I think we all know what the basic emotion would be,
Hmm.
but then it depends on how you look at it. And then if
Yeah.
you have a leader, let's say in that leader position, who's taking that, I think it's their job to then have it trickle down. So you have to recognize
Hmm.
the people below you, and that's how you
Yeah.
have a good business.
No, yeah,
That'll be a
yeah.
good one.
It's gonna be a good. I'm telling you. Hopefully, I'm gonna try to get a bunch of military guys to chime in and stuff, and hopefully they'll be on the chat. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's gonna be
Any update with
interesting.
Nelson? Let's give the audience a little bit. How's he doing? Have you?
Oh, he's doing great. He's doing great. Training's almost over and stuff. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like a month long training event.
Mhm.
I know he's there's a lot of obstacles that he had to overcome, especially being in the position that he was in. And
So yeah,
I'm pretty sure he did extremely well. Just knowing the work ethic that he has and stuff, I can tell he's ready for whatever comes towards him and stuff. So
yeah.
I can't wait till he comes back and so he can tell us all these stories and shit. So
Right. Right.
yeah,
I'm
but
sure
yeah,
you're
man.
always proud of seeing the guys that are still in it, like start to like really
Yeah,
become, different as far as like they're gaining so many different skills. Where you can see, like, man, they're tough.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, it's crazy because there's being in the military and stuff and being in charge of people. It you kind of see them not necessarily as children or anything, but you kind of see them as your own in a way, right?
Yeah.
Where I had a bunch of private first classes and specialists that were under me that are now staff sergeants and stuff,
Mm, yeah.
and it's crazy because it wasn't that long ago that they were just under you, and
Mm,
now they're in a position where they're teaching and they're mentoring people, and it and they use and the best part about it is that they use everything that they liked about each mentor or each teacher or each squad leader or however you guys want to see it, whether it was good or bad, and they form it into a way that it's their own, and
right.
then that's how they're teaching now.
I bet that's how.
And
I bet that's how Bill Cosby feels when he sees P Diddy.
right, saying
Cause
the
like,
son
yeah,
right next
baby.
to him, like I told you not to
Yeah,
go that
baby.
route, but hey, I'm
You
proud of
made
you,
that shit your
son.
own, man. Like, you had a lot of motherfuckers in this. He's like, "Holy shit." Him and R. Kelly. He goes, "Yep, y'all made it some time.
Bro,
Not
I
as
just
long
I
as
just want to
we."
know. I want to know like what celebrities was really part of this because it's a lot of stuff, like, especially if like they're already announcing like very popular names like Usher
Yeah.
deleting tweets and text messages and stuff, and
Can I
like
tell you
what
something?
was that? What was he part of? You know what I'm saying?
Can I tell you something?
Go. Oh God,
Alright.
what
I'm
we
not
got?
bullshitting you. I'm 100 I'm telling you.
Is this a
So,
secret?
no.
Were you part of this?
No.
were you the
Christian,
project
I
manager?
need some cash. Get us offline, motherfucker. This is a serious conversation. I'm kidding. So, actually, we have family. So, my mother's cousin is Albie Shore, okay? Albie
Hmm.
Shore is the father of Quincy, who, P. Diddy adopted. P. Diddy, his late wife, Kim Porter,
Hmm.
was in relationship with Al, which is my mother's cousin. And Kim she died, and they had
Hmm.
these diaries that they got of Kim Porter, and it says all this shit of that P. Diddy was like doing things with children, he was recording them, all
Really?
these different things. And so someone got her diary and is writing a book about it. And so there's a lot of shit that's gonna come out. I mean, even if you think about the MGK shit,
Hmm.
and Eminem.
Mhm.
When Eminem is doing this diss on MGK, who's signed by Diddy, he throws in a jab that you're the reason why Pac was killed, which is kind of common known knowledge that people
Yeah.
think that, P. Diddy has something to do with that. But even in the case of Kim Porter, that she was foaming at the mouth at her death, and they waited to call the police and different things like that. So like that, there's just so much shit in that game,
Mhm.
but it's dark. It's dark in the celebrity shit, dude.
Yeah,
So
so
we're
you
gonna
know some
there's a lot
secrets,
more
huh?
coming. Yeah, there's a
You
lot.
got the diary?
I don't got this shit, motherfucker. But let a motherfucker try to kick in and get the motherfucker. I got the I'm shooting back. But no, there's a lot of celebrities. I've heard like Tom Hanks was big into that. Oprah is big into that. Even the Epstein shit. It was a whole
Yeah,
island thing, And
yeah.
so
Everything's just connected, right?
his freak offs is what they say,
Freak
but
off, bro.
it's like the
That's
freaking
gonna become an energy drink.
it is. And baby oil.
Like
Freak off
booty
baby
juice.
oil. But
No,
anyway,
bro, but
at that, it was good conversation.
it was a good conversation. Obviously, I enjoy fucking having conversations with you. Hopefully Nelson comes back and he joins the party. Not the Diddy party, but this party. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think
Um,
he's running now. He's on suicide watch.
he's on. He is. Yeah, he sure is. He sure is. Fuck, man.
But
But
anyway,
thank you everybody for tuning in. We
yep,
had a blast and stuff. Please go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe, and stuff. We definitely want to hear what you got to say, especially with the next episode. And you know, like how would you feel if somebody else took the spotlight from you because of your hard work? You know, like definitely let us know what you think about that, and hopefully you tune in on the next episode, which is going to be Sunday, 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, and I'll see you then.
we'll see you later.
All right, to the legacy.
To the legacy. Oh, we didn't even do a toast.
Oh, we didn't even do it.
We didn't even do the
Unbelievable.
toast.
You
Unbelievable.
know, I can't deal with you right now. I can't deal with you.